Oh yeah. Oh yeah. You guys feel it? Do you hear it? Bob over here with BrassReel Brothers. Thanks for coming back for another episode of BrassReel tonight. Well, I told you I'd be trying to up my game on every episode. Got this little visual, this little audio piece right here going. I feel like it sounds better. I've been running tests on it all day. So you guys tell me what you think. Look, told you every day getting a little bit better, a little more professional. Before you know it, I'll be up there with the greats. Carson, Letterman, Conan. But seriously, for real, I'm going to literally at some point, it's going to be looking like a super professional show. It's just one bite at a time. So thank you guys for continuing to tune in. I appreciate y'all. Well, not a lot of crazy stuff going on in the news today, but we do have some things to talk about. I'm going to talk about the Loki finale now a little bit since some time has passed, but I will wait to the end to talk about that. So you guys just hang on with that. I don't want you to tune out, but I'll let you know when I'm about to talk about that just in case you hadn't seen it yet. So, excuse me. First things first, little horror news. I don't know if you guys are into the Evil Dead franchise at all. I love Evil Dead. It's directed by Sam Raimi, and we'll get to him in a second too because he's got some stuff going on with Marvel coming up. I love Sam Raimi. I don't know if you guys remember him from Evil Dead, but the Evil Dead franchise is putting a new installment, which is supposed to be the same like timeline, I guess, as the original one and not the remake, even though this is being produced by the guy who directed the remake, Fede Alvarez. But this is what is coming out now as Evil Dead Rise. And again, apparently it's not like a remake. It's just another story of the Evil Dead book that I think that coincides with the original movies from back in the 80s and Army of Darkness, which was in the 90s. But this is produced by Fede Alvarez and directed by a guy named Lee Cronin. So, I mean, I'm not sure how it's going to turn out. I got to tell you, I do like the high rise kind of haunted thing. I don't know if you guys remember Poltergeist 3. A lot of people dog on that one. I loved Poltergeist 3. Had Tom Scared in it. It just had something about that, this scariness of this apartment. To me, when I was growing up, apartments were kind of a luxurious thing. I always grew up in a house, and a lot of the time I was in the country. So there were certain times out there it was a little scary. But for me, the scary stuff going into the apartment, there's a lot of people. It just seems like it shouldn't be haunted, but it does, obviously, especially with the Book of the Dead and all that. So I'm really looking forward to see what they're going to do with that. I love the Evil Dead franchise. I thought the remake was phenomenal. Again, I don't think it gets enough credit. I think they did a really good job. They made it super brutal. It wasn't comedic at all. It wasn't funny at all. The first one really wasn't funny. It had some kind of comedic moments because let's face it, Bruce Campbell's kind of funny. The second one definitely had some comedic moments. And then the third one, Army of Darkness, is pretty much a comedy with horror infused in it. But the Evil Dead remake was serious. I mean, and it went straight through the jugular, man. I mean, I liked it. They did a good take on it. I thought it was well done. So this one I'm pretty excited to see. And like I said, it's coming out soon. It's about halfway done, though. It's halfway done filming. So I think we got another year before that actually gets out. But they've been talking about this forever. But the fact that it's halfway done filming, I'm pumped up about that. And we've known about this for a while, but now we're just getting some actual updates. So I'm happy. Not sure if you guys care about it, but I love it. Big fan. It's Sam Raimi. I mean, he's a master of horror. He's done horror so much and so long that, I mean, yeah, he's done things like Oz the Great and Powerful. And then, of course, he did Spider-Man 1, 2, and 3, which we love Spider-Man 1 and 2. 3 is its own whole other conversation. But I'm really excited to see what he's going to have to offer in the Marvel universe, for one. And he is still producing this Evil Dead Rise. So that leads me to my next thing. Apparently, now I'm sure you guys have seen WandaVision. And if you haven't, go see it. If you got Disney Plus, you might as well just go ahead and watch it. It's awesome. It's my favorite of the Disney Plus shows so far. And I mean, it was just original. It was amazing. It was a take on a Marvel show, or just an approach that Marvel hadn't done yet. And I felt like it was a chance to really explore Wanda and Vision's character. Well, Kevin Feige did announce a while back that she is going to be in Doctor Strange 2, Multiverse of Madness, which comes out in February. And definitely when you see the Loki finale, if you haven't seen it already, you're going to get excited about this movie. Well, Elizabeth Olsen, has come out recently and said that this is the scariest movie that Marvel has made yet. Like, they are actually attempting to try to make a scary film, and it is directed by Sam Raimi. So, yeah, scariest movie yet. I could see it being the scariest Marvel movie, but does that mean it's going to be super scary? I mean, I'm not sure. It is going to be PG-13. However, you can make some scary PG-13 stuff. You just have to do it well. And Sam Raimi knows how to do it well. Like I said, he's got some of that comedic side to it, but I think that'll lend itself to the Marvel universe, because the Marvel universe always does have a little bit of that one-liner here to just, get you a laugh. So I think that he's perfect for this. And the fact that she's saying that it's the scariest one yet, like as far as Marvel films, and she literally is saying it's a scary movie. It's got me pumped up, which Loki pretty much recently now has been confirmed that he's going to be in Doctor Strange. So I'm not trying to spoil anything anymore with you guys. And I don't think that's giving anything away about the series, but like, look, the ball's rolling with the MCU right now. If you hadn't seen some of that stuff, I really encourage you to try to start watching it. It's not really that, difficult to get through. There are only 6 episodes. I do understand if you got kids and stuff like that, it's tough. I don't have any kids. I don't have things like that. So I mean, this is kind of my job. So I do have a little more time on my hands to watch some of these things, but you learned so much about Loki in this show that a lot of people were a little disappointed in it. I wasn't. I thought it was good. Did it get me like WandaVision? No, it didn't. But I still thought it was good. I thought it was better than Falcon Winter Soldier. But I'll get to Loki in here in just the end. But I did want to mention that it's pretty much confirmed today that Loki will be showing up in Doctor Strange too. How big of a role he'll have, I'm not sure. I don't know anything about that. But I am excited that, it sounds like that they're really trying to tie some stuff together here. And they're really trying to build something else again, just like we got with Infinity War, or, the Infinity Saga. They built that thing huge, man. I mean, it took them a long time to get there, but they didn't rush it. They took their time. And it took them about 12 years. I mean, 10 or 11 years, but I think it was almost 12 years. Maybe it was 11. 10 maybe. I got to relook at that again. It was at least 10. I know that. Moving on to some other things. This one's got me. This was kind of just a little side thing that I thought was interesting. Curious to see how many gamers we got out there. I know we got movie subscribers as far as streaming services, Netflix and stuff like that. And speaking of Netflix, sorry, wrong picture. Let me get out of this here. But speaking of Netflix, they just have announced that they're getting into the gaming side of things. And not even like they're thinking about it in the next few years. They're saying within the year, they're going to be having games streamed on a platform, and not even a separate platform, on the same platform. So you're going to be looking at TV shows, you're going to be looking at movies, and then right next to it, you're going to be seeing, the next, I don't know, Batman Arkham Knights that's coming out or something, or I think it's just called Arkham Knights. The new Far Cry game, you're going to see all that right there. I think that's pretty ambitious, and Netflix, it's a good way for them to set themselves apart. I mean, who knows what games they're going to have on there. I'm not saying they will have A-list games. I mean, it might be the same way that when movies are released, you have to release them in theaters first, and then you have to release them on Blu-ray, and then they go to some streaming services. Now, Netflix originals go straight to Netflix. Amazon originals go straight to Amazon, stuff like that. But I mean, I don't think Netflix is in the game making industry. However, they have made games off of like Stranger Things and stuff like that. But those are usually like mobile games, or if it's anything that's on like the Xbox, it's very elementary. It's very stupid. It was more of just like a fun game to get through, a time waster game. You know what I mean? Not anything you can really just, nothing like graphically amazing or anything like that. But when Netflix started making their own original material at first, I really didn't think anything of it years ago when they were just airing other films, other TV shows that you had already, seen on networks or seen in the theater. But once they started airing a good show here and there, I think Stranger Things for me is the one that really broke the mold. There were original shows before that on Netflix, but I think Stranger Things was the one that really broke it for me, to where I was like, all right, this is a damn good show, and I'm ready to see what they got to do with this. I'm just curious to see what's going to be up with this gaming deal. It's either going to work or it's not. Either they're going to make something that's just amazing where it's a one-stop shop. And then that's another thing. How is it going to work with the platform? Are you going to have, is it going to be like only PS5 options here, only Xbox X options here? Is it going to be computer options? You know what I'm saying? Like, are they going to have an option for every game? Like, let's say it's the Far Cry 6. Is it going to give you the option to download the Xbox version or the PS5 version or whatever? So I'm just curious to see how they're going to handle that. But they are getting into the gaming industry. Netflix, still to this day, trying their best to stay ahead of the game, getting into the gaming industry. So curious to see what you guys think about that. You think they're going to launch it well? You think it's something that they're going to be pioneers at again on the streaming services to where it's just a one-stop shop? Because if you're a gamer, there's already game streaming services out there, and not just for like Xbox and PlayStation. I mean, there's computer streaming services like Stadia and stuff like that, Steam. If they're giving you true options to play games here on this, that's a pretty damn good deal. And I'm sure they're saying that you're not going to be paying extra for these games. It's not going to be a separate service. It's going to be still on the Netflix you have. Now, I'm sure there'll be some price increases at some point, but it's still pretty damn cool. Like, if you think about it, if there is a way for you to play your games and watch all the stuff you want to watch all right there on one service, I mean, it's just super convenient. I mean, man, who would have thought that 20 years ago, there's no way that I would have predicted that this is the way things can go. I mean, right now, it's not quite as good a quality when I'm playing on PS5, but if you have PS Now, you can stream games on PS Now. Now, I mean, I know you could always stream games with computers and stuff like that, but now you're streaming games, not even downloading the games, just streaming them. There's a little bit of sacrifice in graphical quality and capability at that point, but not so much to where you can't just have fun with the game, especially if it's like an old game that's like a classic that's from like PS3 or PS2 or something like that. It's fun to play those. You don't care about the graphical capability and you don't even want to download it. You can just stream it for a second, have some fun, and then you're over with it, just like a show. So I do think there's something here. I'm just curious to see how soon it's going to actually launch and how soon it's going to really take off and actually become what they're wanting it to be. But Netflix has paved a lot of way, and they paved a lot of road in a lot of different ways, and they hadn't failed yet. They've got an interesting system, the way it's set up, with being like always in debt to investors, and investors just keep on putting more money in there and more money in there, especially with the licensing fees and all that. But they're still the highest subscribers. They still have the biggest market shares. So like they have this system to where, yeah, they're always borrowing money, but they're always churning money. So, I mean, it's interesting. It's not the same where Disney Plus, all their stuff on there is all Disney stuff. They don't license it from anyone. It's self-contained, whereas Netflix pulls from all kinds of different pots. Hulu does the same thing, but it's set up a little bit differently. Hulu, you can watch stuff next day on TV, and that's kind of the advantage there. Amazon's just, they do whatever they want because they're Amazon. They have all the money in the world. But anyways, I'm getting off on a tangent there. I just think it's interesting that Netflix is getting into gaming. Sure, curious to see how it's going to work out for them. Moving on. This one is the one that's, before I get to that, I'm going to do one more thing. Space Jam Legacy's coming out tomorrow. Part of me is kind of interested in seeing it, but a lot of me is really not interested in seeing it. I don't know. It's getting a pretty good reviews. People are saying that things like it's slam dunked the original and stuff like that. I'm not so sure I'm interested in, I don't know. I don't know how much I can get into a basketball movie and this whole like war between toons and humans. And last time it was like they were saving Earth. And I mean, is it going to be the same old thing again with just better animation? It seems that way to me, but it is an HBO Max movie coming out. I got to review it because I'm doing all the Year of the Max reviews this year, which I think I already missed one that just was so disinteresting to me that I forgot about it. But I am gonna do this one just because it's a bigger deal, and hopefully it'll be better than Tom and Jerry, because Tom and Jerry was, a travesty. Did not like that. So, anyways, I just want to bring that up about Space Jam. Apparently, it's doing, the reviews so far are good. I mean, it's actually releasing right now as we speak tonight. So hopefully it's gonna be better, something worth watching. Nothing more would make me happy to actually enjoy something like that. I'm just can't lie and say I'm excited about it. One more thing before we get to the two last things I want to talk about is reviews for pre-screenings are coming in for this bad boy, Suicide Squad, or the Suicide Squad. The reviews are off the charts. Everybody's saying it's amazing. Now, I'm just now realizing, looking at this picture, this is a terrible picture because the old one's in the background with black and white. This is the new one in color. Well, I guess that's kind of cool. People are saying things like it's so much fun. It's super wild. Sometimes it's overwhelming. It's uber violent, but it's also really kind and has a lot of heart. And you'll find yourself getting wrapped up emotionally in it. But it's getting like 10 out of 10. And a lot of people are saying this too. This isn't just like one outlet. A lot of people are saying that the Suicide, like, not only that it's 10 out of 10, they're saying it's James Gunn's best movie. And I mean, whoa, that's a bold statement. I mean, a lot of people didn't like Guardians of the Galaxy 2 as much as part 1. I thought it was almost as good. It wasn't quite there, but I mean, there was nothing wrong with the film, in my opinion. And then when you have things like Slither, which, oh my God, Slither is one of the greatest horror movies. One of the way I can describe that is one of the most little engine that could horror films ever made. Not only is it awesome and so much fun, it's got Michael Rooker in there because him and James Gunn are buddies from back in the day, but it is just a badass horror movie. If you haven't seen that, watch that this Halloween. Slither by James Gunn. It's got Elizabeth Banks in it, Michael Rooker, because Elizabeth Banks and him are friends. And anyways, check that movie out. I think you'll dig it. And I'm really excited about the Suicide Squad. That's going to be an HBO Max one too. Like, so I'm not even going to have to go to the theater to see that one. It's not that I don't want to support it, but I do pay for HBO Max. And I mean, if they're going to put it on there, they're going to put it on there. So Suicide Squad, James Gunn's version, the fact that it's getting so many awesome reviews by so many good critics, I'm stoked. I'm there. I can't wait. And I'm curious to see what it's going to be and do to the overarching narrative of the DCEU, because I mean, they still are trying to keep that going in a sense. Now they might do spinoffs here and spinoffs there, and then connect some movies occasionally or something like that. But technically it's still going. And technically this is still in the part of the DCEU. But right now they're saying this is the best. People are saying this is the best DC movie yet in the DCEU. Obviously, I don't think it's better than The Dark Knight or something like that, but I'm looking forward to it. So yeah, kudos to you, James. I didn't expect any less, but I don't know if I was expecting quite the reviews it's getting. Just can't wait till it comes out. All right, now to my main topic before I get into Loki. This is the one that's kind of worried me a little bit, and not because of what I'm about to talk about, but just the movie in general has been worrying me forever. Sure, you guys all know that we got this coming. Indiana Jones 5. They haven't released what the title is going to be. It's obviously going to be called Indiana Jones and the something, but I didn't need an Indiana Jones 4. Yeah, I was excited to see it because they were making it, but I didn't need it. And I definitely don't need this one. I mean, look, he's in his 80s now. God bless you. God bless you. Excuse me, Harrison. I love you, dude. I can't tell you how much I love you just because of Han and just because of Indiana. But I love you in so many other movies. You're a great actor. You're a badass. But it's time to stop doing the indie movies, man. I'm not going to sit here and say I'm not excited about this, because I am excited about it, but it's not really because it's because of him. I'm excited about it because everybody attached to it. One, it's directed by James Mangold, the guy who did Logan, the guy who did Ford versus Ferrari. I don't know if you saw either of those movies, but they're phenomenal films. I mean, excellent movies. To me, Logan is like my second favorite superhero movie of all time, with Endgame being the best. Sorry if there's some people that think that that's just too bandwagony, but I just feel like Endgame is the best superhero movie of all time. Not necessarily comic book film, but best superhero movie. But then Ford versus Ferrari, I mean, that's Oscar material right there. And Logan, he didn't do Endgame. I was just saying that was my favorite, but Logan he did do, and Logan might be my favorite comic book movie, not necessarily superhero film, because that's not really a superhero movie. It's way deeper and darker than that. But that movie, I don't think anybody can deny or argue that it's excellent. So the fact that he's directing this, I think it's great. And then we have Phoebe Waller-Bridge joining the cast. If you guys have seen Fleabag, I like Fleabag. It's a good show. She's clever. It's clever. It works. I like the whole thing. I'm curious to see why they insist on just teaming up all these different people with Harrison in this. makes me think, is Harrison's character not enough anymore? Is he have not enough left to put on the screen? Is Harrison just not cool enough on screen anymore? I just don't know why they feel the need to just start stacking it up again. Not that they didn't have other things, like you had Sean Connery in the third one, but it was really just about him and his dad. It was about Sean Connery and Jr. This one, I feel like it's going to be about a lot of other people. Now, the reason I'm saying that is, I'll get to it here. You also have Boyd Holbrook, which was in Logan. So I don't know if you remember him. Now, I love this guy. I thought he was an awesome villain in Logan. I loved his acting. I thought his presence was just really cool. He was charismatic. He was one of the only things that really worked for me about Predator. There was a couple things about Predator I thought were, fun to watch, but as a whole, that movie sucked. That movie's terrible. It's a travesty that exists in the universe of Predator, just like Predator versus Aliens 2. Predator versus Alien 1 was good, but part 2 sucked. And he was good in Predators because I thought I like him as an actor. But I'm just wondering, like, he's a scene stealer. He's a screen grabber, man. Like, when he's on the screen, he chews it up, and you love watching him. So that's other big talent that they're putting in this movie. I'm not happy about any talent ever joining. I mean, I'm never unhappy about any talent ever joining a film. I'm just curious as to why they're stacking this up. I mean, sorry, this fly is killing me. These fruit flies have been terrible in Texas lately. I'm just curious as to why they're stacking up all these actors. Kind of like, is it an Indiana Jones movie or is it an Indiana Jones and Friends movie? Because recently, this guy joined. Antonio Banderas today has been announced. He has joined the cast of Indiana Jones 5. Now, look, Antonio's a phenomenal actor. I think he's great. And I'm hoping that this is going to be good. One, it's just that Steven Spielberg's like, look, I don't want to direct it. I'm done with it. You could tell that even with the last one, that his heart wasn't in it. So yeah, it's a different director. So that it's already got going for it. And I love Spielberg. You could just tell he was out of it. But now when we got Antonio in there, again, he's a scene stealer. So you got three scene stealers with Phoebe Waller-Bridge, Boyd Holbrook, and now Antonio Banderas, along with Harrison. I'm just curious as to what's going on in this movie. Now, maybe it's just cameos here and there. And if it is, that's cool. I'm fine with that. And I'm fine with them being in the movie. I want to reiterate, I'm not upset that they're getting talent to be in this film. It's just that, one, I didn't need another Indiana Jones. And two, why do they feel the need to just stack it up with like kind of Indiana Jones and Friends film? That's my only thing. But we'll see. I love watching Antonio Banderas and everything he's in. I mean, one of the best lines in movie history is when he's in Desperados. Not yet. So badass. And Matt, if you're out there, dude, you love that. Not yet. Had to do it. All right. So with that being said, let me just say one more thing about Indiana Jones too. I forgot about this. That one of the main thing, and another thing that is got great talent going for it, is the villain has been confirmed. Mads Mikkelsen's going to be in there. I'm sure you guys remember him. He was the villain in Casino Royale. He's been in a lot of other stuff. He's also, sorry, I'm getting a call there. He's also taking Johnny Depp's place in the new, he's also taking Johnny Depp's place in the new Fantastic Beasts movie, because Johnny got fired and all that stuff because of him and Amber Heard and all that. But whole other conversation. But yeah, Mads is joining the deal here. So I'm curious to see what's up with that. I hope he's good. I mean, Mads is great in everything that he's in. I love him as an actor. And I hope that he gets enough screen time. Sometimes I fear with actors like him on a movie like Indiana Jones, they're going to be a villain that's in it, but you won't see him a whole lot. Kind of like they do in Bond movies sometimes. You don't really see him the whole movie. You just see him at certain elements, and then at the end. I hope I do see him, more than that, because he is a great actor. But ultimately, I just want it to be a good movie, and I want Harrison to be good, and I want him to be believable in it. I mean, they already had to shut down production because he got hurt, busted his shoulder up. And I'm not dogging on you, dude. I'm promise I'm not putting hate out there. It's just, dude, at 81, do we need an Indiana Jones movie? That's all I'm saying. And what if Captain America, Chris Evans was, 60 something playing Captain America? I don't think it would work. Anyways, just my thoughts. They better not de-age him in this movie. I swear. If they de-age him, that's going to be, ugh. But last but not least, Loki. All right. I liked Loki. I thought it was great. I think some people need to be a little less harsh on it. Because first, I've said this before. This is the TV of Marvel. This isn't the movies of Marvel. This was a character building show. It was to for you to get to know Loki better, just like Falcon and Winter Soldier was for you to get to know Sam and Bucky better, and just like WandaVision was there for you to get to know Wanda and Vision better. And that's what's happening with Loki. I think that everybody can agree that after watching this show, you have a better understanding of who Loki is as a character. You love him more, you care about where he's going more, and you kind of root for him a little bit. That tired thing of him doing the same thing, oh, he's bad, oh, he's bad. I'm not saying that he's fully good now. I'm sure that he's going to have some mischief here down the road or whatever at some point because he is the god of mischief. But I like that we're seeing different sides of this. I mean, in this episode, we got a crying scene from Loki that was great. I mean, he gets emotional in it, and it gets you emotional, and it's really good. So, with that being said, this was a character development show, and it was setting up future stuff for major things to come. Because right after this, we've got the Doctor Strange into the Multiverse of Madness coming, or in the Multiverse of Madness. That's the next thing we're seeing. Yeah, we've got What If coming out, and we've got the Eternals coming out, which the Eternals it's connected, but it's not connecting to this specifically, from what I understand. And neither is Shang-Chi. Shang-Chi is just an introduction movie for him. Spider-Man No Way Home is actually, I think, which is going to tick off the other multiverse. I think we're going to see things starting to be affected in Spider-Man No Way Home from Loki because of timelines spinning off. And then in Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness is when it's really going to come to a peak in the head, and we're going to have all kinds of crazy shit going on. So I'm hoping that we're going to get Spider-Man and Loki in the Doctor Strange movie along with Wanda, but it has been confirmed that Wanda and Loki are going to be in it. And if you guys don't know, and I was saying this the whole time, that Kang the Conqueror, I knew he was going to be behind it. Even though it was a Kang variant, I knew he was going to be behind it. The statue, all that stuff, they kept on focusing on the statue, and I kept on saying that. They're focusing on that statue. They're telling you that's Kang. And he looked too much like Jonathan Majors. I think that's what made me figure out is he looked so much like Jonathan Majors that I was like, all right, that's Kang. That's got to be Kang. And the fact that it's a time thing, that's Kang's thing. And the fact that Kang's going to be a villain in Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania, which they can mess with time there. There's going to be a multiverse thing happening. I mean, all kinds of stuff is going down. So, and the way Kang got killed off, again, spoiler, but the way he got killed off and he's like, see you soon. Oh, that gave me chills. And it's not movie level chills. It's TV. And it's still great looking TV. It's fantastic looking TV. I know nobody can argue with that. It does feel like TV still, but I like that. I like the little less, I don't know. It doesn't, everything in the TV shows so far, it's like, if it doesn't work out just properly for me my way, I feel like I can give it a little small pass. Because most of the things that are still occurring and going on, because there's so much, because there's multiple episodes, I still am intertwined with. I find that TV shows more like reading a comic book. Honestly, every episode's like an issue. And I keep going through it like that. It leaves me hanging, and it gives me that feel of being a kid again. I love the movies, and the movies are sort of like, if I'm eating, which I don't eat fast food, but if I'm eating fast food every day, but then I eat like a really cream of the crop meal once a week or once a month, that's kind of how I'm viewing this. Like, this is my everyday food with the Disney Plus stuff. And then I get my once a month or once every few months movie, which is like just really where they put their where you get to see the show. You might go see some local bands around town here and there, but then when you go see Tool live, it's the show. You know what I'm saying? So that's the way I view the Marvel Universe on Disney Plus right now. I really think that it's like reading a comic book. I think it's just episodic that way, and it keeps me hanging on. I like the water cooler talk. I love talking about it. And the fact that they've just really set up the multiverse for sure now in this, and the way that Loki was looking at that Kang statue at the end of Loki, and the fact they're doing a season 2, which I don't think that we're going to only see Loki next in season 2 of Loki. That's not the next time we're going to see him. I think we're going to for sure see him in Doctor Strange. They're just saying Loki will return in season 2. So I overall, I think this show was designed to set up the multiverse, to show you how this multiverse could actually start happening. because they pretty much break it down. Kane breaks it down for you, the whole thing. He starts talking about these variants, start talking about there. He's seen it all. There's multiple variants, all these things. So now that you've seen this and you know this, going into Spider-Man No Way Home, all these things are going to start making sense. And I think we're going to start seeing the spark ignite in that. And I think that we're going to see the explosion in Doctor Strange in the multiverse of madness. So that was it. That was my little thing I wanted to say about Loki. I thought it was all great. There's some complaints here and there. You know, Sylvie bugged me sometimes. I didn't think episode 3 was really enjoyable. I kind of fell asleep almost, but I didn't, but it was just boring to me. I wish the Disney Plus shows would do without the filler episodes. They do that in all their series, including The Mandalorian. But I see what they were doing with Loki. I see what their agenda was, and I also see what they were doing with Falcon Winter Soldier. I see what they're trying to set up for some future stuff. Same thing they were doing with sort of the end scene of Black Widow. The post-credit scene of that is leading into Hawkeye. So they're just setting a bunch of stuff up. And I promise you, we're going to get some more of those major event movies that give you the chills, that get you all giddy. And yeah, just got to give it some time because they got to set the groundwork for it all. Well, that being said, guys, hit that subscribe button if you enjoyed, or just hit it. Please hit it. Help me get big. But hit the like button too if you enjoyed watching this video. And thank you for clicking on this video. I appreciate it. I love you guys with all my heart. I hope this sounded better. Like I said, I'm going to start lifting and pumping everything up more. The show's going to get better and better and better. And it's going to look like one of the greats. Well, you can look at me on Bobby. You can find BrassReel Brothers on Facebook. You can find Bobby Williams on Facebook, and look for me on Twitter, BrassReel Bobby at BrassReel. And guys, love y'all. We'll see y'all mañana.